So you just forgive me. I just there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I will explain throughout. But so you're from Germany, right? So you're from Germany.
Yes.
You wrote a song, and
I've always sang.
You've always sang.
I've been releasing some own songs before, but I was at the songwriting session and I wrote a song there, and a very big producer said, "Oh, that's great." So he sent me with producers that he managed are under his roof to Sweden, and I wrote some songs and we produced them there.
Okay.
And now I hope, to do something with them, and we're currently talking to labels. Maybe this is
Okay. So do you know what you want to do?
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want something to grow from it.
And I feel like this week as well, doing this and the working towards the showcase is hopefully going to be really beneficial for everybody. Because, you know, as you say, sometimes technique can all go out the window when you're nervous and you actually have to put it on stage. So it's like marrying those two things, all of the stuff that you've been learning, and it's all kind of settling in, and you know, you're definitely going to be so much more skilled vocally than you were at the beginning of this, but it's like, how do you actually take all that stuff and then also make it amazing on stage? Because if it all kind of just goes out the window, then it's not really useful, and that does happen a lot, but that's what we'll hopefully be working on this week. Oh God, this chair is so squeaky, I'm going to have to just sit and
Black one, maybe. This one, yeah.
It's only plastic chairs.
Okay, so great, we're going to go for the long, how short is that one? Are you alright? You
It's the
squeeze
same.
as well?
Well,
Do you want me to locate another one? I mean, there's that one, some armchair back
Yeah.
there.
I want to do it's fine. It's fine.
Yes?
Yeah.
Now I don't know where to go. Look, let's just squeak together, it'll be fine.
Okay.
I just won't move. Okay, let me hand over to you.
Sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Zalon. I'm a soul singer. I've been here a few times with Sophie. I've known her for many years. And my journey has taken many twists and turns and ups and downs. And so hopefully in this session I'll be able to answer some of your burning questions. So I started out wanting to always be a singer. My dad was a famous reggae singer in the 70s. My stepdad was also in Aswad. Yeah. And so music was always a massive passion of mine. And when I was younger, it was very cute, you know, because I was a little kid who used to sing in the house, and everybody would cheer. And as I started to get older, it was not cute anymore. my grandparents were hard-working Jamaicans who came here, and they worked hard all their lives. So they didn't understand this concept of I want to sing. You know, my granddad especially was a person who believed that you must learn a trade. Just a bit like your parents who was guiding you towards getting a real job. You know, something like a mechanic, a doctor, a dentist, something that people need every single day. And I didn't want to do that. I just wanted for him to be proud. I wanted him to be proud of me. But that passion, I wanted to be famous. I saw Michael Jackson and that's what I wanted. I liked the way that he made people feel. I liked the excitement that was around it. And that was just a childhood dream of mine. And so when I grew up, singing was always part of my life. I would go to choir and all these things. And then when I was in my teenage years, I started a group. These guys were older than me and they were better singers than me. Every time I sang, I got nervous. And every time I got nervous, I made mistakes. Every time I made mistakes, I got more nervous. And the cycle kept on happening until they kicked me out of the group. And that was quite a pinnacle moment in my career, or my life, should I say, because I felt like I had found this group and we were going to be the next massive hit. And all of a sudden, I wasn't good enough. So I went home and I cried because I didn't know what else I could do. I felt like this idea, this dream, I would go at night pray about. Like, please, can I be like, God, I want to be a singer, I want to be a singer, I dreamed of was taken away. And I didn't know how else or what else to do. And at that time, there was the record companies where if you didn't get signed by a record company, you wouldn't go anywhere. So these guys were my route in. And at the time, my vocal trainer was my manager, and he gave me intensive vocal training. And he believed that you're always judged by the worst member in your group. So if the worst member in your group is amazing, then the band's going to be amazing. And so he would give me intensive vocal training, and I would work in and out, like day and night, day and night, day and night. And eventually I was invited back into the group. The group soon disbanded, everybody went in their own directions. But at that time I started to get respect within the singing community. So a lot of people used to be like, oh, have you heard Zalon? Oh, what's going on? When I come in the room, they'd be like, yeah, you sing, you sing. It used to be this excitement. And so I was asked to sing at a place called Tenorals, which was, it was like a live music spot where every week there was a different celebrity. It could be Will Smith, Black Eyed Peas, Pharrell Williams. There was always someone new. You would step into the room and it was like a world on itself. There was like the best break dancers in the middle dancing. There was the most beautiful models walking around. There was industry. There was like people in the music business that were the people that made it happen. And there were celebrities and there were the best musicians all waiting to go on to play, because it was like, this is the days before social media. These are the days before mobile phones. So if you wanted to get out, you had to go out, you had to meet people, you had to talk, you had to showcase your greatness. So I would sing there. And I was singing backing vocals there, and I would get out. And when I would sing one day, I'm like, singing to the ladies. I'm doing my soul crooner thing. And all of a sudden, this small girl comes out of nowhere, and she's like, oh my God, you're amazing. And I'm like, thanks, but I'm singing. She's like, no, but you're amazing. I'm like, thanks. And I'm now looking at the audience, and everyone's kind of looking at what's going on, because I'm singing on stage, and she's whispering my ear, and I'm looking at the band, and they're looking at me. And I was like, thanks, but I'm singing. And the host goes, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amy Winehouse. And then she sang, and I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. And so this is before Back to Black. So this is Frank. So she had released Frank, but she wasn't as popular as she became. And so every time she came down, she became a fan of mine. Every time she came down, we'd just go to the corner, and then we would just sing while the band was just playing. And we just kind of just riffing in each other's ears and just, singing and making jokes and stuff. And then she disappeared. I didn't see her. I didn't know at the time that she was working on the album Back to Black. And I got a call saying, hey, would you do backing vocals for Amy, the MD? I said, no, I'm not a backing singer. I said, oh. And the reason why is because at that time, you could get typecasted, meaning if the industry, remember you had to go through the industry, they had to approve you to get to go through to have a career. So at that time, my perception was, if you see me as one way, you cannot see me as anything else. If you see me as a backing singer, you cannot see me as a star. So I said no. So I put the phone down, and a little while after, I don't even know how long, I don't know if it was a couple of hours or a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but afterwards, she calls me up, baby, will you come on the road with me? It seemed alright then. It was supposed to be 6 months, it ended up being like 6 years. It was one of the most amazing experiences ever. But she never forgot that I wanted to be an artist and that she met me on stage. So she would always create the opportunity. She pushed us to the front, and while we were doing our dancing beside her, she would make us sing solos. She would say on stage, if you look at her official DVD, you see her saying, check out zalononline.com, ZALON, like she's spelling it out because she had this passion that she wanted people to hear me. And she gave me 15 minutes in the middle of her world tour, and then she signed me to her label. And I featured on her album as well. So she was doing everything, and I was like the next to go. So just about when I was just about to release, it took me like 9 months to create this album. just about to release, and then she passes away. One of the most devastating things. Number one, because I've lost somebody that I care about, and I've lost somebody who's just about to materialize my dreams. After all these years of doors being shut in my face, and granddad telling me to learn a trade, and all of these things, and it was so difficult. It was hard. It was emotionally difficult just to conceptualize, because she was the first person close to me that had passed away. So I don't understand. It was hard to understand. How could you be gone? Like, where were you gone? Like, gone where? And you always think somebody's going to pull through, and it didn't. So it's devastating. 2 years after that, my sister passed away with cancer. She was 34 years old. She had 3 children. The youngest was 2. And so I became a co-guardian to her 3 children, which was even more difficult, because now I didn't have this job security, so to speak, of touring around the world, but I now became a father, or guardian, should I say. So now I've got more responsibilities, less money, which is hard, right? Because it wasn't something I had chosen. Like, I want to have kids, and I'm going to now, I'm prepared, I'm in a position to have kids. It was just forced upon me. So myself, my mum, my brother, we looked after our children. And so I didn't see a way for me to have a career. I didn't see how it was going to be possible, because it was too hard. But what I'd always done is I'd self-educated. I'd always been studying, reading, listening to podcasts, listening to videos. It's always been something that I've been a passion of mine about. What tools could I get that I can use for where I'm trying to go to? Just as you guys have invested yourself to be here today, this is what I was doing. I was making that decision to commit to, because you don't know when you're going to need it, right? And so I decided, I've always been self-educated, so I looked at the kids and I felt like I needed to set an example of going for it. Because if I'm doing nothing, then I am the template for them. And so I wanted them to know that it is possible when you try. And so at that time, the social media was becoming more prevalent in our mind, in our world, and less corporate structure and record companies and radio stations, more social media. That transition was happening. And because I was studying and self-educating a lot, I started to communicate over social media. And I basically started building brick by brick. And I managed to start touring the world, literally, without a label, without a manager, without being on the radio, without being on the TV, without being in the press. And I managed to use social media. And I was selling out concerts all around the world. I have a festival. This summer will be the 10th anniversary of my sorority festival, which we support the homeless charity, the biggest homeless charity in the UK.